WWE have announced that Cody Rhodes has suffered a broken arm. We've got the backstage reaction to LA Knight's popularity, and a WWE Raw star is considered a potential main eventer. Stay tuned for all the deets. Right, so going back to Raw at the start of the week, we saw a brutal attack from Brock Lesnar on Cody Rhodes. Cody getting thrown through boxes, into walls, onto the floor, into flight cases, and then through a load of kegs. And then Brock picked up a keg after throwing Cody into a garage door and then just obliterated his arm with a keg. Cody then screaming. Just a little bit sore.
A little bit sore. Doesn't look nice to have.
It was confirmed by Michael Cole, Byron Saxton and Triple H on the Night of Champions press conference that Cody Rhodes has suffered a broken arm, but he's still going to compete against Brock Lesnar at the PLE tonight. So Triple H was asked about the injury. He admitted that letting Rhodes compete might not be the best decision, but both Rhodes and Lesnar were intent on fighting.
Yeah.
Now, this is clearly storyline.
Just a little asterisk. It is storyline. If he had a genuine broken arm, he would not be allowed to compete on the show.
But then he had literally no arm and he was allowed to compete on a show. So it wouldn't be out of character for Cody to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I see they're really wanting to build all the adversity towards him and be like, look at all the things he's overcome, but
at the same time it's kind of like, we just keep letting him wrestle injured.
We're gonna wear this man down. But yeah, the story going into this match, Brock has just brutalized him. He's got a broken arm. I feel like this is just,
what was it? He was like, as he was throwing him around, it's like, you want to fight? He's just like launching him,
just getting
like
destroyed.
Jesus, it's like that second case bump where the entire flight case just goes thunk, and you just hear how heavy it is.
Well, he was on the media conference. He came out, his arm in a sling. The crowd
massive reaction.
Oh my God, they were into him. Like, that was something that he's over everywhere. But it's going to be loud tonight when he goes out there. And I feel like he's going to maybe lose that match because he's got a broken arm and it's Brock Lesnar. And this extends the feud.
It extends the feud, and we can build towards, maybe one of the more tentpole pay-per-views or something, a little bit further along the line. We've of course got Money in the Bank coming up. That could maybe, factor into that in some way.
We've heard rumors that Cody might be put into the Money in the Bank ladder match. If he's got a broken arm in storyline, that's going to be a very quick recovery for 1 month.
Unfair advantage if he's got a cast though.
True.
Can't be having any of that nonsense.
But we know Bob Orton did that. And
maybe they'll give him a
Tubi
grip. They'll give him a Tubi grip because that's not going to help anybody. Moving on, kind of also stemming from the Night of Champions press conference. I'm quite enjoying the fact we're getting more and more of these now from WWE. It feels like it just keeps things a little bit fresh.
It does, and it feels like we're going to get more with Endeavor because it's a very UFC type media event.
It's just hype, isn't it?
It's and it shows
all that additional time beforehand. You may as well do it.
Exactly, and it shows like how into the crowd, how into the show the crowd are. It allows them to have any final little storyline pushes just right there before the show.
Well, the crowd in Saudi Arabia were really into one star in particular, and that star was LA Knight. Worked Wrestling on Twitter has followed up on that with a report saying that LA Knight's popularity apparently has not gone unnoticed by WWE management, and while nothing's concrete, Knight's name has been tossed around as a potential Money in the Bank winner. I don't think that's very surprising. No. It's what people have been begging for.
Yeah, it feels like it's Knight's time. Like he's
the perfect person to carry it. Mm-hmm. He just maybe doesn't have the reach of a Logan Paul.
Yeah, you're still on the. I mean, that's the thing with Logan Paul's right there. But LA Knight, there was a massive chant for him on that media event, and it seemed like he's been flown out to Saudi Arabia for a good reason. It could be that he's going to be on the show. The report that yesterday that came through was that he's massively over with the Saudis, and it seems like he is.
I think he's getting over absolutely everywhere. So this is just an amplified response, I feel.
Yeah, and giving him that Money in the Bank briefcase, should it happen in a month's time, he's going to
imagine what he'll be able to do with it.
Exactly. I would like to see whatever he can do. He's one of the best talents they've got right now.
Absolutely. Moving on to the other side of the fence. Not the other side of the fence, actually. Moving on to the other side of the pay-per-view next month. The first Money in the Bank qualifying matches have been announced. It was during last night's SmackDown. We've got Montez Ford taking on LA Knight in the first qualifying match. Sorry, Montez. Really want LA Knight in that match. Yep. While Lacey Evans is going to be taking on Zelina Vega to earn a place in the women's ladder match. The matches are going to take place on next week's SmackDown, so it's just the usual kind of build to it. We're going to see week by week.
Yeah.
Until probably the go home. They might leave it that late.
I would imagine either the go home or the week before that. It just feels very strange to place Montez Ford in there against LA Knight. As we're saying, it's almost a surefire victory for LA Knight.
The thing with the go home is, I with it being in London, I can see them maybe doing the final entrant there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, and having been like, you'll find out who the last entrant is in London. Maybe it's a big UK star. Maybe Drew McIntyre. That's my fingers crossed anyway.
Drew would, it's always good to have like a bit of a powerhouse in a Money in the Bank situation.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what these matches end up being. I think Zelina for the women is a good shout to put in there. She's been on quite a run recently, obviously at Backlash, Puerto Rico in her home, home state or territory.
She's a very dynamic performer compared to Lacey. Not in like, when you just look at kind of in-ring style, I think she's just more suited to maybe a ladder match situation than a Lacey Evans.
She can take really good bumps and make things look really impressive. So yes, give us Zelina Vega, give us LA Knight. Sorry, Montez Ford. I do want to see you hit a frog splash from the top of a ladder.
Well, moving on to the other side of the fence, finally. I skipped ahead there before. This one is probably the most obvious thing I think I've read all week. There's been multiple issues between CM Punk and AEW in recent months.
It's your CM Punk news of the day.
Guessed it. An update on the CM Punk situation has emerged from the Wrestling Observer. Tony Khan and CM Punk have reportedly reached a deal which included an NDA, so a non-disclosure agreement, regarding never speaking publicly about the post-all-out situation again, alongside the other participants, and signing legal documents protecting AEW legally from him walking out. As of right now, apparently everybody's on the same page. I guess this is just sort of the cleanup. Yeah, there's been a lot of issues, but the NDA is interesting.
Everyone's on the same page. There's an NDA signed so that nothing can come out.
The same page is just sit down, shut up, sign this.
Pretty much, yeah, literally. They're on the same page because their signatures are on the NDA, but it's not a surprise that Tony Khan would want an NDA signed. We know that when CM Punk left WWE, he walked on a podcast and told everything. Yeah,
but at the same time, I think an NDA just makes it seem like there's a lot more serious things there.
Juicy. But I think it's one of those things that as a company, they need to protect themselves. If he walks out and they've not got that protection in place, that's very bad for AEW.
Well, either way, I think it's going to be interesting to see the return of Punk. Do you reckon he's going to get booed?
Not in Chicago, but I think at the first pay-per-view, whichever it would be, so I imagine it would be All Out, he'll get cheered over here.
Just turn him heel. Let him just go off on the audience.
Whenever the Elite are on the same card as him, I think he'll be the one that gets booed.
Yeah.
But it's unlikely we'll see them on the same card.
Only time will tell. Yeah. But moving over to Impact for a bit of news about a former Knockouts champion departing the company. Who is it,
Yeah, so Fightful Select's reporting that Jordan Grace's contract with Impact Wrestling has come to an end, and she's planning on taking some time off to explore some other projects. Now, Grace's contract was extended in the past few months due to injury, so any time off that she's had because of that, they just extended it on. But yeah, after Under Siege, which she's gone, she's left the company. She's now officially a free agent. We don't know what the future lies for her. She has mentioned in the past that she would like to end her career in Impact, but hasn't ruled out going elsewhere. It'll be interesting to see what she does. She's one of the best women's talents around at the moment in the industry.
For sure.
She's one
of Impact's sort of big tentpole names, right?
Exactly. And it seems strange that they would let her go, but obviously it seems like it's quite a mutual sort of understanding that they're going their different ways.
The idea of, different projects as well sounds like it's maybe stuff outside the wrestling sphere or stuff in the wrestling sphere that maybe isn't in-ring action. So it could just be, exploring other avenues.
I mean, she's been big in the bodybuilding world recently. She's done a lot of competition, so maybe it's going down that route, which obviously I imagine the door will still be back open in Impact Wrestling.
I imagine there'll be a lot of companies making overtures as well if and when the time comes where she's like, I'm going to get back into it. But I think with just being so synonymous with Impact, I quite like the idea she might just return to Impact and crack on there eventually.
Exactly. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter being like, but Jonathan Gresham, her husband's in Impact, so of course she's going to go back. They've been in different companies quite a lot of their careers.
Quite a lot.
That doesn't mean she's going back. But right now, she is a free agent. We'll see what the future lies for her.
I think there's always going to be the kind of WWE aspect to it as well, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it'd be interesting. But moving over now back to WWE, looking toward a potential future main eventer. This one comes from Worked Wrestling, and it's sort of it comes off the back of a couple of things we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks since Backlash surrounding Damian Priest. Apparently he's a name currently planned to appear in the upcoming Money in the Bank match, which if he is, then maybe Drew.
Maybe no Drew, he'd fill that big man spot, yeah.
But apparently, Priest has been mentioned in creative as a potential main eventer after putting on an incredibly well-received performance with Bad Bunny. I think, that was a real standout moment for him. Yeah. I think he has the look, he has the talent, he's got the kind of aura about him that you can put him into that sphere. I'm liking what they're doing now with him. I think, it's obviously not going to last forever. No stable lasts forever. But I think
Bullet Club does.
Rather than just sort of pulling the trigger on it and sending it straight to the moon, I think just let it build naturally, because Priest's somebody I can just see people slowly starting to get more and more behind.
That's the thing, but also at the same time, he is 40 years old.
He is.
It's now or never really to push him into that spot and give him that main event push that he deserves. And it is the key word there. He deserves the spot. That match with Bad Bunny was fantastic. I think he carried that feud, and Judgment Day has been built around him, and it's
you
great.
Can put him on that tier. Mm-hmm. I don't know necessarily whether it's going to be kind of the fast track to a belt situation, but you can definitely put him into the main event tier now, I'd say.
I think it's for sure. And it's the thing with the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. He could be one of the guys that they go, right, he's naturally one of Seth Rollins or AJ Styles. It's going to be Seth. First challengers.
Yeah.
Like, he fits in there.
Look at him. He's a wall.
Exactly. And Judgment Day as a stable would be really, really strong just to keep them together. Him as the main event, or Finn as the guy that can float. Maybe give Finn and Dominic the tag titles. That's what I would maybe do.
That'd be very nice.
I'm very, very excited for his potential main event run. But we've got a lot of content coming out this weekend.
Exciting, big, massive wrestling weekend tonight. We've got what? We've got Team WWE covering the Night of Champions live reactions, which is 5 p.m. UK time. And obviously subtract 5 hours for midday
1 o'clock
on the Eastern board, and then you've got a Pacific time. It's in the morning. So we've
got that. We've got WTF moments.
It's on screen now.
It's all on the screen. We've got what happened at following the show. We've got some news as well from following the show. I imagine we'll have some news coming out for that show. Tomorrow night is Team AEW's turn. Me and Tom, we're going to
midnight, I believe.
It is midnight. We're going to crown a brand new Cultaholic AEW champion. We've got that. We've got what happened after that. We've got WTF moments. We've got all the regular content. We've got
it's just stacked. It's absolutely stacked. You talk about stacked cards.
Exactly.
Look at our channel lineup for the weekend.
And if you want more content, podcast went out last night. We've got 9 pitches for both the pay-per-views or premium live events that are on just now.
And if you've not watched it yet, get on the Managers Ranked video. It is massive. A lot of effort's gone into it. It's really well produced. It's very worth checking out.
Jack Atkins put his heart and soul into that one. It was a good one. So get watching all that content, and we will see you later on.
Bye.